Tired of swiping but never connecting? You've tried dating apps, but somehow it's just not working the way you hoped. You don't need more apps. You need better tools. At Singles Seeking Soulmate, I help men become better partners, starting with themselves. Learn how to communicate clearly, set boundaries, build confidence, and actually understand what healthy women are looking for. And yes, you'll also have the opportunity to meet high-quality, emotionally available women ready for something real. You don't have to keep doing this alone. Dating School for Men, real skills, real women, real relationships, this is your moment. Join us and build the relationship life you actually want.
Good evening. So it is almost the end of the day. I'm actually headed to Charlottesville to pick up my daughter. And I have not been on my game today because I actually decided that today I was going to focus on the things that I wanted to do. And so first thing in the morning, I slept in, I watched church. I had a ton of things to do around the house. I had to pack my bag for my trip. I did a lot of work outside. I did a ton of work outside because our backyard needed a ton of work. And if I'm being honest, I kind of just, I got up, I made a good breakfast, I dove into the day, and I didn't do what I would normally do. Normally, I would go through my entire contact list. I would wish every woman in there who was a mom, I would have wished her happy Mother's Day. That's what I would normally have done. But today, I just said, you know what? I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to do the things that I want to do today. I'm not going to feel pressured to do anything I don't want to do. Like if it doesn't cross my mind, I'm not going to do it. And that's kind of how I have, I've managed this day. If I'm being honest, I forgot that today was Mother's Day. Like I forgot it was coming up. So I did not expect anything from my kids. We're not going out. I did not expect anything. Like, if I'm being honest, I forget a lot of these holidays. I've forgotten Father's Day before. Like, I forget a lot of these holidays. I really do. The only holidays I don't tend to forget is Christmas and maybe Thanksgiving. There's been times where I've forgotten my birthday. I've forgotten my birthday was coming up and people are like, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? Because, if I'm being honest, I'm really not super into holidays, like if I'm really being honest. And, I'm not a big Valentine's Day person. I'm not a big July 4th person. Thank you. She said, happy Mother's Day to all. Yep. But I want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. But just know that, it's almost 7:00 and I really didn't post. I didn't reach out to anybody. I had a couple of people reach out to me. I had a couple of happy Mother's Day from numbers I didn't recognize. And I can only imagine who that is. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I'm not huge on holidays unless there's a big, huge holiday like Christmas or Thanksgiving. I really don't remember holidays, y'all. And so, if my kids, if they forget or they don't get me anything, it's really not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. I got to do what I wanted to do today, which is work outside in my yard and just be with my pets and be at peace. I got to do what I wanted to do. So it was a great day. And the weather was absolutely perfect. It was absolutely beautiful today. Perfect day to get yard work done. So I was out there for hours. I took a break because I had to go to Lowe's and get some stuff. And then I came back and then I kept working. I got a nap. So that's always a good thing. I got a nap. I talked to my mother briefly. And now I'm headed to Charlottesville to get my daughter. But I just wanted to jump on because I had a client yesterday reach out to me through email, and it's a tale as old as time. And I know some of you all will be able to relate to it. It's something that's happened to me. So this same thing happened to me probably more than once, if I'm being honest. Many years ago, I've been in situations where I was dating a man, and the relationship ended, and it could have been him that ended it or me that ended it. But the relationship ends, and a week later, you find out that that person is on a dating app, or they're out, they're out with someone else. And in that moment, you are devastated. Like, in that moment, you are absolutely devastated. And you're trying to make sense of what's happening. So this is what she's writing to me. She's like, I just broke up with a guy, and I really wanted the relationship to work, but there were some behaviors that he was doing that I had to kind of set boundaries, put my foot down. And, my hope was that he would get it together. But I remember everything you tell us, that, if we want a man to change, we have to leave him alone. Like, we have to just walk away. We have to leave him alone, give him the gift of our absence. So she does that. And about a week later, she finds out he's back on dating apps. He went out with this girl, I guess at his job, someone that, he told her, oh, I work with her. You don't need to worry about her. Or, I'm not interested in her. Ladies, how many times do I have to tell y'all? If you hear a woman's name come out of your man's mouth more than twice, you should be worried about her. And you should shut it down immediately. Okay? Whether it's an old friend, whether it's somebody at work, if you hear a woman's name come out your man's mouth 2 times, not 3, not 4, not 1, 2, you need to shut it down. You need to deal with it immediately. Okay? Yes, it is something for you to be worried about. Okay? And sadly, I believe men and women can be friends. But here's the caveat. Those people must be emotionally mature. So that is, people of integrity, people who are emotionally mature. Those are the people the men and women that can be friends. The people who are upstanding and righteous and mature. Yes, those men and women can be friends. But we both know that most people are not emotionally mature. Most people are incredibly wounded, or they're immature. And here's the thing for you to know about emotionally immature people. They don't process pain. Emotionally immature people do not process pain. They run to other people. That's how they deal with the breakup. Okay? They run to other people. They run to partying. They run to going out and going to day parties and going out at night, and they run to dating apps. Oh God, Jesus, they run to dating apps. The second the breakup happens, they're back on a dating app. And here's the thing I've noticed. Some people say, oh, well, that's women. No, it's men too. Because again, we're talking about emotionally immature people, men and women. And in my world, that's a level playing field. There are emotionally immature men and there are emotionally immature women. But they both find themselves back out there, back on dating apps, calling people that, they put in the friend zone or whatever. They will go to the friend zone. Just understand that. They will reach for the friend zone because these people cannot process pain. They do not know how to sit with themselves. They do not know how to sit with their emotions. So basically what I told her, and this is something that I finally realized when it happened to me, right? Because, you cared about this person, you love this person, you had a relationship with this person, and when they're out dating or appear to be in another relationship very quickly, it gives you the feeling of, what is this? Like, did I not matter? Did I not matter at all? Like, what is this? So I was just for fun and games, or I was just for play, or you didn't care about me, you didn't love me. Like, that's immediately where your mind is going to go. But I'm here to tell you, okay, that person, as a matter of fact, this is what I'm here to tell you. This is what I figured out for myself. The fact that that person is running to another person, that actually confirms that you meant something to them. That actually confirms how hard the breakup is. That actually confirms that they had feelings for you. That's because it's just so painful. The breakup is so hard and so hurtful and so painful that they can't sit with it. They can't sit with themselves. They can't process the pain. They can't assess what really happened. They definitely are not self-aware. Emotionally immature people are not self-aware, and they're often not other-aware. They cannot process pain. So the fact that you see them posting them out on a date with someone else a week or two later, that's proof that they are in pain. That's proof that you meant something to them, that they're hurting. Because emotionally immature people do not sit with themselves. They do not process the pain. These are the people that a week after the breakup, they're sleeping with somebody from the friend zone, or they're out, picking up somebody in the club, or out on dating apps, sleeping around, because they have to distract themselves. They have to find ways to distract themselves because the pain is just so overwhelming. But that's what I finally figured out. I was like, oh, I did mean something to this person. Clearly I did. Because they're in so much pain, they can't just sit down. They can't just be by themselves or sit with themselves or, focus on work or focus on school or, whatever. No. They need another person. Think about that. They need another living, breathing, warm body to validate them, to say, I'm not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm an okay guy. I'm an okay girl. Knowing good and well that if they sat with themselves, if they actually withstood the pain, they would learn something about themselves. See, and emotionally immature people don't want to do that. The last thing they want to do is become self-aware because they have so much shame. Emotionally immature people are filled with shame. And so they know that if they didn't run to another person, they didn't have another warm body in their bed, they would have to face themselves. They would have to face their messed up ways. Like, I got problems, I'm really messed up. I can't attach to people. I can't seem to bond to people, or I'm not emotionally available. See, all that stuff is going to come up. Or they're in a pattern. A lot of these people are in a pattern. So this is the fifth relationship or the fifth dating situation that then blew up on them. And if they sit still long enough, they're like, it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. This is the fifth person I've tried to date that has broken up with me. So they don't want that to happen. They have to run to the next person, and that next person knows. And this is what's so wild, y'all. Let me tell y'all what's wild about this. People who are on dating apps, and I witnessed this firsthand when I saw a friend do it. So I saw a friend do it. And I called it out. I kid y'all not. I called it out. And I know he was mad. I know he was like, I can't believe you just said that. But I called it out, right? So the breakup happens. A week later, back on the dating app, swiping, then matching, then talking to people through the app, talking on the phone, trying to meet up. This is what I said. Y'all, I kid y'all not. This is what I said to him. I said, wow, this is wild. I said, you're about to go out on a date with a woman that doesn't know that 2 weeks ago you were inside of another woman. Why you say that? Why you gotta say that? I said, you're about to go out on a date with a woman doesn't know that you're still in love with another woman, that you were just inside of another woman, you were just hugging another woman, kissing another woman 2 short weeks ago. She is completely oblivious to the fact that you are in love with another woman. And y'all, he was mad. He was so mad because I was just like, y'all, stop. But just know, emotionally immature people do not process pain. They jump into other relationships. They jump into other situationships. They jump into bed with people. They jump on dating apps. They do whatever they need to do so that they don't have to look at themselves, so they don't have to come to terms with themselves. They don't have to come to terms with the pain that they cause other people, and they don't have to come to terms with the pain that they're in. They just don't they don't emotionally process their pain. So I'm making this video for her so she will know that yes, it was real. This person cared about you, however long the relationship lasted. It was real, and this person cared about you, and they loved you and wanted to be in a relationship with you. Unfortunately, they had behaviors that you couldn't tolerate, that you couldn't accept, and you made it very clear to them that that was the case. And then they weren't able to meet you where you are. And there's tons of reasons why that might be, right? Lots of people they don't have the capacity. I keep trying to tell y'all, these people out here today, they don't have the capacity to go deep. They are as shallow as a kiddie pool. And y'all are trying to dive off. Y'all are trying to dive into a kiddie pool. No, these people do not have the capacity. And you keep making it about you. You keep thinking, well, what's wrong with me? And why can't I get to a third date? Why can't I get to a real relationship? What's wrong with me? Some of y'all, there's nothing wrong with you. These people don't have the emotional capacity. They are not emotionally mature enough to go deeper. Everything is casual. That's why so many people jump straight to sex. Because, that's the dopamine fix. That's what's going to make them feel better. And especially these people that are out of relationships quickly. The typical rebound behavior. Let me reach for another person. I just broke up a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Let me go out here. Let me find somebody else. The best way to get over somebody is get under someone else and all that nonsense. And it's like the vicious cycle continues over and over. And look, those people are hurting themselves and they're hurting other people. They're hurting other people with this behavior and hurting themselves. I'm always telling people who are rebounding, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not learning anything. You're not growing. But just know, like I said, I'm a conscious creative person, and I have zero tolerance for shallow people. I have zero tolerance for people who are not, conscious thinking people, who are not able to critically think. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can be polite to anyone, and I can have a certain amount of small talk, but if I'm being honest, I can't go on no 2-hour date and have no small talk. No, I'm talking just being out somewhere and just having, casual conversation. But I'm not going on a date with a person and talk about the weather, okay? And talk about the pollen count and talk about, no. But I need y'all to understand, people are wounded. They lack the capacity to be real and to give you their authentic self. They really, really struggle. So a lot of it isn't you. A lot of it is people are just, they're wounded, man. They're traumatized. I've never seen so many insecurely attached, traumatized people, and people just shallow. And they think that being shallow protects them, right? So this keeping everything casual, keeping it shallow, keeping it surface level. See, that's why they're doing that, because they think that that will protect their heart. So that's why they do it. But they wonder why their relationships are so unfulfilling. They wonder why their life is so unfulfilling. And I always tell people, I love my life. I absolutely love my life. And people who know me, they're like, man, Anita just like she's just, and I mean, I'm covered in dirt, covered in mud. I've since taken a shower today, but I'm, covered in dirt today. And my neighbors are seeing me go, front yard, backyard, front yard, backyard. Then I'm walking my dog. Then I'm in my backyard. Then I'm bringing out all my equipment. Then I'm bringing out the lawnmower, and I'm bringing out my trimmer, and I'm bringing out my blower. And they're just like, yeah, Anita's just happy as a clam outside working in the yard, right? Making the yard look beautiful. I love my life, and it is the simple things. And look, whenever I'm done doing my yard, planting grass seed, planting vegetable seed, fruit seed, or whatever, right? When I'm done, I love just standing back and looking at what I've done. I love it. I love being productive. I love oh my gosh, my yard looks so good. I got the sprinkler on. I'm trying to grow grass in these bald spots and all of that. I mean, I just love it. And it's just the simple things that make me feel fulfilled. But y'all, I'm going to be real with y'all. Going on these dates, like I said, I know I run men off. I know I do. Because like I said, I'm not going to sit across from me for 2 hours and talk about dumb stuff. Talk about television. Talk about the Trump administration, the weather, the pollen count, what's my favorite meal, and all that crap. That's not going to happen. So it's plenty of dudes that, and look, this is how I know dudes are horny. Dudes are horny right now. Dudes want some loving real bad. Because they know I annoy the hell out of them, and they still try to get laid. They still try to get laid. They're just like, okay, Anita is trying to go deep. She's trying to talk about this deep, metaphysical or like all this deep stuff, right? She's trying to go there. She's trying to take me there. I'm not emotionally available. I'm not trying to open up. I'm not trying to go deep. But you know what? I'm just going to tolerate this and see if I can get some tail. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. And I can see it. Ladies, have you ever went on a date with a man or sat across from a man that you could tell did not like you? Like, I could see it clear as day. This man don't like me. But he is holding out for some tail. That's what he hoping is going to happen. Anita's going to give me some tail or something going to happen. No, it's really not. It's really not going to go like that. Sorry. But yeah, it's sad to me that women can't tell that men don't like them. I think that's kind of weird. Because I got some couples that come in that's dating, and I can see it clear as day. I can see it clear as day that he don't like her. He don't dig her. He don't like her like that. But he's like, hey, this is, I'm getting something out of it. Some need is being met, but he don't like her like that. So no, it could never be me. It could never be me. I can't be in no dating situation, no relationship with no man that don't like me. No, I don't need a man that bad. I'm good. And y'all know it. I've said it before, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious. I don't. I'm good. I'm good. I cannot stand being around men that are just tolerating me or doing it to get laid. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to drag you off the pier. I'm going to drag you into the lake. I'm going to drag you to the deepest part of the lake. And you going to try to, go up gasping for air because you're like, what? I didn't have no plans on getting in this water. I was going to stay on this pier, or I was going to sit on the edge of the pier and dip my feet in the water. That was all I planned on doing. I didn't even come with swim trunks on, and here you are trying to drag me off of this pier deep into this lake, into the depths of this lake. But that's what I'm going to do every time. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to annoy you every single time. Yep. They like, oh, I don't even know how to answer. I had one gentleman where he was just like, I don't know. You tell me. Like he kept trying to get me to talk. And I was like, no, I'm genuinely interested in what you think about XYZ. Or I'm like, oh, tell me more about that. And he just was like, nope, he would not do it. He wouldn't go there. And I was like, no, I'm good. But like I said, they will keep calling. This is what it tickles me. It straight up tickles me because I know they don't like me. I know they were annoyed by me on the date. And yet they will text, they will call. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. I'm like, do you really need some cat that bad? Like, you don't even like me like that. Lord. And I just ignore them. At that point, I just ignore them. She said, I know a dude who's been with this woman for 30 years and he doesn't like her. Yeah, that's a lot of men. But like I said, you're meeting a need for the man. And you might be meeting a few needs, a couple of needs. But yeah, men are capable of that. Now, women, don't get me wrong, there's a percentage of women that can be with a man. And if he has enough resources, like if he's wealthy, there are women out there who will tolerate that man, right? They don't like him. They're not feeling him. But if he's wealthy, if he's successful, and again, she's got to be getting something out of it. Yeah, there's women that will do it too. They will be with a man that they don't really like. I don't think that's the average woman. I think the average woman wants to genuinely like the man that she's with. But there are women out there, and to me, those women are a special type of woman. I'm not, I can't be with a man for money, be with have sex for money and all of that. That just ain't, that's not even in me. That's not even in me at all. But there are women out there like that, and they'll tolerate a man that they find disgusting because he has money. So, all right, let me see if I can go back. Thank you, Evolving Lulu 74. She said, Happy Mama's Day. Okay, and you're leaving the gym. Yeah, she said they had someone on the back burner all along. This is what's funny, though. You would be surprised to know that a lot of people who rebound don't. A lot of people who rebound don't have anyone on the back burner. Now, they may pull someone out of the friend zone, right? But you would be surprised at how many of these people were not cheating on their partner. They were not cheating. They were with their partner. They were into their partner, and they wanted the relationship to continue. And then when it ended, they scrambled. They scrambled to find someone else. Okay, you said happiness is an inside job, for sure. How much do you maintain communications with a woman during postpartum depression? How do you maintain communication with a woman during postpartum depression? You use words? I'm confused by that question. I'm assuming she's your woman. Is she your woman? Is she your wife? You use words. So you use words. You either verbally talk or you write it down. And I would say every day you check in, you ask questions, you see if that person's okay. Okay. All right. They have 5 kids and he's made 5 kids on her. No, she a darn fool. There we go. Okay. I'm getting ready to end this because I'm getting close and the connection's going to get funky. But you're never going to be on sure footing with someone who's emotionally immature. Never. You're never going to feel stable. You're never going to feel sure. So you want to know that sooner rather than later. And if I'm being honest, sometimes you got to trigger people. You got to trigger people to see who you're dealing with. And I'm not saying that as some sort of weird tactic or, game or anything, but you got to see the worst of people soon. You got to see who they are at their worst and see if you can handle it. That really is the telltale sign. is, can I deal with this person at their worst? Right? You gotta look at, you gotta find that. You gotta find that quick. And that's why I tell people, say no. Tell a person no. Deny a person something. Tell them no in some way, shape, or form, and then you're going to see who you really got. But if you're always there and always available and always saying yes and always showing up and right? Tell that person no in some way, shape, or form. That's how you're going to reveal that person's emotional maturity. And I want y'all to do that sooner rather than later. Y'all wait too late. You wait 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then you have problems. So no, I mean, within the first month, you know, if y'all have a date and you get sick or you're tired, just tell them no. Say, hey, I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't make it. I'm not feeling well, or I'm tired. I had a rough day at work. Can we reschedule? If they flip out, if they go off, that's the answer. That is your answer. And you want to be like, you know what? Like, there's a lack of emotional maturity here. But that's a big okay, y'all, it's going to get real funky now. But if you're my age and you're pouting and not answering questions, I'm good. Like I said, I'm like, nah, I'm good. So that's it. I hope this was helpful to her. I wanted to answer this question for her, but emotionally immature people do not process pain. They outsource it. They jump into new relationships. They rebound. They monkey branch. They jump on dating apps, and then they blame. They blame others. They do not process pain. They don't look at themselves. So just be mindful of that. When it happened to me, you know, I was devastated. And then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, I actually saved myself a lot of heartache. Like, oh, okay, I'm glad that happened. Like, to this day, I'm glad that it happened. Because I'm like, yeah, now I see that person and who they really are. Right? But I don't want someone who's emotionally immature. It would have come out at some point later on in the relationship. So I'm glad that it went the way it did. And remember, the rebound never works out. Y'all actually be thinking these people are going to ride off into the sunset. They don't. 90% of rebounds do not work out. They don't. And if they last more than a year, it's been proven that the relationship becomes toxic. So, nope. You think the other person's winning. They're not winning. They're not winning. Trust me. All right? I hope you have a great Mother's Day, what's left of it. And remember, you can get a 30-day trial of Skool. All you have to do is email me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You send me an email. I will send you an email invite through Skool, and you can come in and join. We will not be meeting tomorrow because I'm going to be in Tampa, Florida. But we will be on Module 13. I believe we're in week 13, Module 13. And remember, when you come into Skool, you can go through the course at your own pace. So you can go all the way back to Module 1, watch the videos, get all of the resources, watch the live Zooms, and you can, you know, catch up. You can catch up and be right where everyone else is. He said it's built on faulty foundation. Exactly. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know why y'all think these rebounds and these monkey branch situations work out. They never do. 90% of the time, they don't. And I have to keep reminding people of that. And then there are times where I predict, like my clients will come in, they'll tell me about their relationship situation. So I'll make a bold prediction. And the person's like, oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, this, oh, that. And then look, 3 months later, they come back. You was right. You was right. Exactly what you said was going to happen happened. Like, and I'm thinking, I've been doing this for too long. Y'all, come on. Come on. I've been doing this for, like I said, when you work with couples and couples therapy, when you do relationship coaching and you do relationship science, I've been doing this for 25 years, y'all. I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in thousands of other people's lives. So, yeah, I'm giving you all of this knowledge and letting you know, okay, he'll be back, right? He'll be back. he'll spin the block, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, and people, no, that's not going to happen. No, I don't see it happening, and this, that, and then they come back. You was right, because people are cyclical, and life is about patterns, and people are true to their patterns. He said people who rebound typically probably know nothing about themselves. They don't know what they need, what they like. No time to grow and learn yourself. Exactly. And I keep telling people this. You're not losing out. This person is not self-aware. They're not other-aware. They're not emotionally intelligent. They're just that warm body syndrome. So no, I know it hurts. Like I said, I know it hurts because I've been through it myself. And it does. It makes you feel like crap. It makes you feel like it's you. It's something wrong with you. It's not you. It's not you. It's them. It's them. Trust me on this. And your little heart will heal and you will choose better next time. That's all. All right. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you for joining. And as always, stay open to love.